Every day may not be your best day, but if you only work on your best days, you may get nothing done. Every decision you make may not produce the desired outcome, but the good thing about bad decisions is that they give you first-hand experience. And even when you try and fail and start over, you won't be starting from scratch, you'll be starting from experience. Welcome to another episode of Murphy's Notes. It's great to see you again. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to appreciate everyone who listened to the first episode of this podcast. Thank you for spreading the word and for all the valuable feedback. The intention was to hit the ground walking, but we ran. In 1 week, we recorded over 50 listeners from 6 different countries across Africa, Europe, and North America. We had listeners from Nigeria, Ghana, the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, and Ireland. We also recorded over 250 Spotify impressions, and I'm thrilled to announce that our podcast is now streaming on 4 platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, and Amazon Music. The success story of our first week came with a twist that inspired this episode's title: Continue Walking, Starting and Sliding. If you're a scientist, you probably know about starting friction and sliding friction. But if you're not a scientist, don't worry, I've got you covered. Think about a time when you had to push or pull a heavy object. You'd agree with me that it takes much more effort to set an object in motion than to keep it in motion. This is because of a phenomenon scientists call starting and sliding friction. We're not about to hold a science class, but I just need you to understand that scientifically, it's easier to keep an object in motion than to set it in motion. What this implies is that if you start moving and you stop, it takes more effort to start again, and so you're better off maintaining your momentum. During the week, I was pondering on one of my statements from our last episode. I said that starting out is usually the difficult part, but what I did not say is that starting out goes beyond just taking the first step. The second step, third step, indeed the first few steps are part of the starting process. Those are the steps that help you build momentum. If you've ever flown on an airplane, you will know that it starts crawling even much slower than a bicycle. Then it picks up speed gradually on the runway, then it takes off into the air, and the pilot struggles to balance the aircraft against all the forces of resistance. And finally, after the starting friction has been overcome, the plane goes into autopilot mode. This is where it gets easy, and the pilot can let down her hair because she has done her bits. So if the first step was hard, the next few steps may also be hard, but it gets easier as you go along the way. And at some point, like an aircraft, you'll find yourself on autopilot mode, but that only happens after you've broken the initial barrier. I'll be honest with you when I say it took more effort to record this episode than our first episode. When I saw the feedback and reviews, I was tempted to put on my perfectionist cap again and ensure that episode 2 is as impactful as episode 1. But then I reminded myself that perfectionism is what prevented me from starting out, and it would prevent me from continuing if I let it. So I had to practice what I preached. I had to show up and record again, even if it could turn out to be less than perfect. As long as someone learns a tiny lesson, we are making progress, and we will improve over time. After your first step, your starting step, the next barrier is to continue walking, but you must, otherwise you will lose steam. You may see great results at first, and you are wondering if your next step will stay in your glory. Keep going, you are building momentum. You may see minimal results at first, and you feel discouraged. Keep going, you are building momentum. You may see no results at first, and you are tempted to stop. Perhaps I'm just not cut out for this. Keep going, my friend, you are building momentum. You must come to terms with the fact that some people may be faster than you. Some may find it easier than you. Some may even overtake you along the way. But if you keep at it, you will reach your destination at some point. By perseverance, the snail reached the ark. As you step into the new year, don't just look for new things to start. While it's good to start new things and forge new habits, you might want to look at the things you're already doing and find ways to consolidate. This way, you can build momentum and make more impact in the new year. Remember that a rolling stone gathers no moss. That being said, I want to wish you the best of 2024. I hope that this is the year that you maximize your potential and you live your best life. It's been a pleasure speaking to you today, and I trust that it's been worth your while. I hope to see you on the next episode. Till I come your way again, keep being amazing. My name is Murphy Nnamdi Ochuba.